Welcome back to Patient Win Insider. I'm Nick Moen, and today I'm joined by Dr. Yar Khan, founder and CEO of DentTracks, and a practicing dentist who owns and operates 12 offices across the Houston metro area. After scaling his own DSO, Dr. Khan saw a gap that every growing practice faces: too many disconnected systems, too much time lost between marketing, operations, and insurance, and no single source of truth. That problem led him to build DentTracks, an AI-powered all-in-one platform that unites marketing, revenue cycle management, analytics, compliance, and team performance, along with much more, under one roof. So today we're going to dig into what it takes to run a modern DSO, where most practices leak money and momentum, and how AI can help owners get control of their data and their day-to-day. So thanks for coming on, Dr. Yar Khan.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for having me.
So you're in Houston now, and I'm just curious, like, how did you end up in Houston to a point where you started your own practice? What's your story there?
It's a long story, Nick. I mean, I've been a globetrotter of sorts. So basically, started my journey in the dental school in India, and after I graduated, decided to take on a position in Saudi Arabia as a dental surgeon for Ministry of Health over there. There, I realized that I have the potential and a desire to go for advanced studies, and what better place to go for advanced studies than the United States. So tried my luck, and I was able to get into UMKC, University of Missouri, Kansas City, for a radiology program. So I just took it because I wanted to put my foot in the door. And while doing that program, the first year was GPR. And after I finished my GPR, I had the opportunity to interview at several other programs, and I chose LSU in New Orleans for a pediatric dentistry program. So unfortunately, or you can call it fortunately, um, that gave me a lot of resolve coming from a place in India with a very, very humble beginning. I had only $85 in my pocket. And when I came here, landed in Dallas, and one of my friends, cut me a ticket for Greyhound to travel from Dallas to Kansas City. So I had no way to pay for tuition at that time, and it was a tough ride. But and a lot of people came along the way, including my program director at UMKC, Dr. John Dane. He created a position for me to be a dental assistant after hours. So I don't know how he did that, but I used to mop the floors, clean the sterilizer, clean the X-ray processing unit, which used to be the film-based unit, and then, set up for the whole day next day, and then perform dentistry on patients as a resident. So thanks to Dr. John Dane and a lot of other people who came along the way, who really helped me and bailed me out in difficult situations. But after finishing like that program, when I went to New Orleans, 1.5 years into my pediatric dentistry program, Katrina hit, and we had to evacuate. We were the people who evacuated a little late, so it was like an 18 hours drive for me and my 7.5 months pregnant wife to come from New Orleans to Houston. But the traffic was moving in that direction, and that's how we ended up in Houston. Now, after that, first week was okay. We were like, okay, we got a break. But then, that break got stressful because the magnitude of the damage was so high that, I wasn't able to fathom it in the beginning. And then I realized I got to do something, because otherwise I'll lose time, and I couldn't afford to lose time. So I went to talk to the program director and the chair of the department here at UT. And then they sound reasoning in my arguments that, okay, there is no way I can go back, and somebody has to do something about all the residents that are stuck. So they gave me a position of a visiting resident. I learned a lot from them, from the whole department here at UT. All the experiences I had, along with what I learned at New Orleans, was phenomenal. I went back, finished my residency in New Orleans, and I got a letter from the program chair here saying that we saw how you worked and we really like you. You connect well with others. And, they said, go ahead and see if you are willing to come back to Houston. So this is the offer letter for a faculty position at the Department of Pediatric Dentistry. So I took the position, and And then that was the first entry in Houston as a person who's working with a paycheck. And after 3 years of that, I decided to get into private practice and then joined a really old pediatric dentist, Dr. Jerry McGowan, who was ready to retire, but he did owner financing for me, so it was a great opportunity for me. And then that was my first practice. Dr. McGowan and I had a deal that he will retire completely after he gets paid off. So that happened in 2 years, but then Dr. McGowan continued with me for 12 years.
Wow.
He retired. He retired when he was 78 years old. So that's fantastic. I had a great person, a mentor, and it was a great ride. So overall, I mean, it was a great journey. And then for one practice led to other, and then I started experiencing what practicing is like, what growing a business is like. Met a lot of leaders, met a lot of good people along the way. The network kept expanding, and then one practice led to the other and to the other. And I started thinking, okay, there are a lot of bottlenecks in the whole process of running a dental business. So, that's how the inception of everything that I'm doing outside of dental practice, but within the realm of dentistry, happened. So it's
Well,
a long-winded answer, but that was in short. I have lots of stories along the way.
yeah, well, and a lot of people will stop with one practice and focus on just like your mentor did, right? So what kept you pushing for scaling into now 12 locations instead of stopping with one successful office?
Well, I mean, I always was an entrepreneur. So I had I had a cousin that was working with me, and there was a situation that happened with him where he went back to India, and at that time I had two practices. So when he went back, he tried his luck in other industries, and he knew everything about dentistry because he helped me build these two. So after he tried his luck, he was like, I mean, dentistry is great. I want to keep focusing on my career in dentistry, but how do I do it here in India? So, I mean, I'd been hearing about a lot of these companies that do offshoring and then, help dental offices here to cut their expenses and make them more profitable and stuff like that. I had an experience with a couple of them that didn't work out. But then I told him, okay, let's start something over there. Like, let's build a team of 5 or 7 people, and you manage those people, and then help me out with my offshore like work, like everything that we do here in the United States, we keep it as very knowledge intense, and then we started offshoring all the labor intense work, like dealing with insurance companies, staying on the wait for half an hour for just somebody to respond, doing the whole accounts receivables piece where you need a lot of labor intense work. So we started doing that in the beginning, and it was very successful. So we expanded to 4 practices. When my friends saw that, when my colleagues saw that, they were like, okay, you did this and you seem like you've done well. So what should we do to have you help us so that you can build our team over there? I said, that's easy. Okay. I mean, because I had already replicated one. So I created a team for my friends and colleagues, and one thing led to other, and then to other, and it just kept expanding. So that's how it happened. My practices expanded, and then because of the team that I built, some of my colleagues and friends got a lot of help. They expanded. And then I realized that this is like, growing as a business of its own, and it's helping people. That was a great kick for me. And I was like, okay, let's keep doing it. And then that's how, like, at one time I had 7 practices and this team of 75 people. And I felt like, I was getting overwhelmed and things were falling apart. Some of these colleagues that I was like working with, they were happy, but they started seeing gaps, and then they started feeling like the people were not doing the work that they were supposed to do, and there were mistakes happening. And all of that input that I got from my friends, a lot of them from here in Houston, a lot of them some in New York and some in California, then when I got these updates from them, I was like, okay, it happens when you're scaling up, things can fall apart, but this is my time to do something about it. So I sold 2 practices here in Houston. So now I was at 5 practices instead of 7. So the money I got from there, I just invested all that money into proper infrastructure building, and that's how it gave birth to DentTracks. So we started the basic framework of DentTracks. We wanted to run a pilot project because, I mean, everybody was on spreadsheets and different disconnected systems. The team management became really difficult, and that's why the team members saw an opportunity to be lazy, or people who were performing really well felt that they were not getting rewarded. People who were lazy, they would find ways to just get out of not working and stuff like that. So it was necessary to build something to keep everybody accountable, and then do that constructive development of teams. So that gave birth to DentTracks, and basically from 75, now we have 350 people that are catering to 175 offices in the United States. Very successful model. And then we keep getting requests all the time to help them with their different needs, because we are a full service, full scale type of a back end service. We can even do like credentialing, and we can do audits. Some people have audits, they get bogged down, they don't want to stop their practices and deal with the audit. So we can provide them with inputs, we can provide them with all the labor to help them accentuate their workforce to be able to deal with these type of situations. Some of these situations can be like one off, and then they cut their ties, that's it, done. But then most often we find that after somebody have had some work done from us, they come back and they give us like slowly a full scale of operations, and we are able to help them out. So this is basically how things panned out. And now I'm getting requests from a lot of other tech companies and partners who want to partner with us, because now that ecosystem is created, everybody sees a value in that, and they're like, okay, how can we partner, how can we bring our piece into yours so that we can keep expanding this ecosystem and make it more all encompassing. So that's the story of overall just the dental offices and how it went hand in hand with the team and the tech.
Well, and so having run all those, like what was like the first major, I mean, I know you talked about, insurance, like having people handle that, or like consolidating tools into one place, or accountability, but what was like the real major problem or bottleneck that you faced to say, hey, look, I'm going to sell these practices and invest in building some software? And like, if someone's never heard of DentTracks, what's that first problem it solves? Just short and plain language, what's the tidbit?
So I mean, because now it's such a monster, it's a big product. We started out with a single problem, right? And that problem was I lost close to like $27,000 of insurance money because the claims went beyond timely filing limit, and nobody saw it. The manager said that they submitted the claims, and then basically those claims got stuck in the clearinghouse because of whatever reason, and the manager was under the impression the claims were sent, but insurance never received it. Maybe there was a lack in running the AR reports or going through the details of the AR reports. And when we caught it, it was already beyond timely filing limit. So that was like a big bummer for me. And I was like, we worked too hard to be able to get this money in. We've paid all our associates, we paid all the employees. This $27,000 hit is right to my bottom line, to my profitability. So I was like, no, 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 that there has to be some kind of a method to tackle this before it happens. Instead of like digging through like a pile of reports and AR reports and all of that. So that was the first incidence, which made me think that, okay, there should be an easier solution, easier way to deal with this. Um, and then we decided, we tried a bunch of different things. We were doing it on spreadsheets already, so there's a program called Zoho. We built it on Zoho. It worked great, and that was like kind of our sweet spot where we thought, okay, there is credibility in this type of a system. If we build it, it will have a good product market fit. And we started building it. So when we talked to Zoho, they were very limited. There were limitations because you're working on somebody else's platform. So we basically continued with it, but we kind of scrapped it, and then we start coding from scratch for a product that we can call our own, and that's how DentTracks came into being.
And what's been the hardest part unifying all the different systems? So if you started with managing insurance, and that's a great pain point that a lot of people have, right? And they're handling it in house a lot of the time. What about adding on the other features and solving the other problems about running a practice? Like how did you decide what features to add, and what was been the hardest part in combining them all?
Yes, so essentially, if you go by the hardest part was integration. Unfortunately, the dental industry is very fragmented, and for some reason, except for a few PMSs, all PMSs are very closed systems. They want their own autonomy, they want their own ecosystem, but in a sense, they don't want to develop the ecosystem to where, the users can find everything within one space, right? So overall, that was the biggest problem that I saw and the difficulty that I saw. But then, we just kept at it. We kept talking to them. We kept showing them our modules and different things that we were doing. So slowly they opened up and they gave us access to their databases and to their APIs. So this is what was the biggest problem. But as far as how the ecosystem evolved, that's a story where we wanted to have everything in house so that we can help our clients and help our own offices. So, okay, we started with insurance piece, which is the RCM, comprising of Dent Verify, Dent Sent, Dent Rev, and Dent Accounts. So these four pieces are core RCM products, end to end, starting from insurance eligibility verification all the way to the balance of the patient becoming zero, right? And then not losing any dollar whatsoever in that process. But then I realized that a lot of practices like spent a lot of money on marketing and they have no clue. And I did that too. I spent lots of money on marketing, and then the marketing company is saying that we sent you 150 leads. And when I look at my new patient count, it's 5 patients that came in that month from the marketing leads that they sent. So we were like, okay, there is a disconnect here. You're saying that we made $300,000 from your marketing effort, and I only see $30,000, and I spent like $15,000 with you. Okay, I made some profit, but that's not how marketing works. It has to be 8 times, 6 times. So I was like, okay, we need to build a CRM piece. So that's how we started building the CRM piece. Same thing happened with the incentive, where we found that we as a practice sometimes gave out bonuses to our staff in a particular month based on the productivity of the office. We set a target. Okay, we're going to reach $150,000 this month. If we reach 150, anything we make beyond 150, we're going to share and give you incentives. Okay, I gave incentives for $15,000 that month, and then when I did my profit and loss, I was in a loss of $15,000
Right.
because that month my expenses were off the roof.
Right.
So basically, you gave incentive whereas you didn't even make profit. And
Right.
lots of practices do that. I mean, believe it or not, that's how my dentist friends sometimes are running their practices. They're not aware how to look at these numbers. They're not aware that profitability is the key. It's not just the revenue. So then we build the incentive to make sure that people understand overall that profitability is where you start giving out bonuses and stuff. You keep your expenses in control.
Yeah.
And then, we came across issues related to compliance, right? I mean, people get these high tickets from the state agencies, state boards, and then whatever profitability they made, it goes into like dealing with all of that. So we thought, okay, let's put the compliance piece in there so we can make people aware of what's going on before it happens, right? I mean, if there is a staff member that is going to go beyond their certification, HIPAA certification expired or OSHA expired and X-ray radiation expired. Before that happens, we got to have them catch it, send them notification. So, I mean, we came up with a solution for that. And then, analytics piece, which combines everything and shows each and every metric related to the running of the dental practice and compliance, the KPIs, all the demographic and all of that, we already had it in our different modules. We combined it and we brought it into one particular module, which we are almost like giving free to all our clients. Okay, use our compliance, use our Dentalytics module, and then just see what we are doing. And then if you want to see the workflows of how to do it, like they're able to see with Dentalytics where the downside is, where the opportunity is, where to pull the levers, but they're not able to do it with Dentalytics because all the workflows we have created in individual modules. So it's like a teaser, something related to marketing where we give it out free, but you cannot, I mean, you can work with it, on spreadsheets and stuff like that. Great, power to you. But when you use our tool, it gets connected. You get an integrated solution. So that's how we built all these modules. And one more thing I want to reiterate here is, see, I am a clinician at heart and I know how to run a dental business. And then because I was in the trenches, I was really doing everything on my own along with my staff members. I know the nitty-gritties of the business. And I never had this plan to bring out this technology and give it in the hands of the dentists and have them use it on their own. I did not even know what SaaS is. I mean, SaaS was about a couple of years ago. Yes, I did not know that. So I just kept building and building and building. And then came along a person who was an ex Microsoft, Mr. Ghazi. He's my mentor and he's an advisor on our board. He came along and he said, okay, you built a great product. One of the days I just showed him, because he was a family friend, I just showed him the product. So he was like, this is a great product. And you said that you're using it for all your clients, you're using it for your offices. How about putting it in hands of the dentists? I was like, how do you do that? What do you mean? Then he explained to me the whole concept of what a SaaS is. And then it was an eye opener. I was like, wow, this is awesome. We can do that. That will be incredible. So that's how I went ahead and I started researching it, got a lot of help from him. And then we decided last like in 2024 July at the DEO convention, Dentist Entrepreneur Organization, I unveiled and we launched DentTracks to be able to put it in the hands of the dentists. So that's how the ecosystem built. But the biggest IP that we have here is the fact that our data talks across the board. So let me explain this. So say you have a CRM piece, say you have DentCom, and then you have Dent Verify, you have Dent Accounts. Okay, these are three different modules, and this is how the industry is right now. So if you say, for example, go to Dental Intel, it's analytics, right? They have some workflows. You go to Weave, it's CRM. They have a full patient engagement. Okay, you go to Practice by Numbers, they have the accounting related piece, right? But then Dental Intel is not talking to Weave, it's not talking to Practice by Numbers. So all the data is silo. You cannot make it interact. And that's the biggest problem. So what we have is, okay, we have DentCom, we have the whole RCM piece. Okay, that's talking to DentCom. And then we have the accounting piece talking to all of them. And then we have the staff incentive that is actually proving that you are profitable. You're not paying out of just revenue. And then it just becomes such a powerful IP, right? So that is our IP. This is what we actually are promoting, to where, okay, people can just see everything about their practice on one platform. So you have a PMS on one side and you have DentTracks. Both of them are open. They are talking to each other. And the DentTracks has a whole ecosystem of how to run your business profitably. So that's the main IP.
Well, so I guess my question would be, if everyone's using other tools, obviously you've created a holistic platform to manage everything. What's onboarding like? Like, how do you transfer data and information from the other platforms into DenTrack?
That's a great question. That is wonderful. So we are working on the piece where we can actually do data conversion.
Wow.
So people who have been using something in the past, they have data in there, and that data is useful for them. And that is the biggest detriment for any person to go onto a new platform, onto a new technology. And people are actually really, really averse at the moment and tired of signing up with different techs. They are taking a very close look now at, whenever they are signing up with a tech, to make sure that it really is bringing value to them, and then also making sure that there is no overlap between some other tools that they're using. And that's the biggest problem right now. So a lot of these technologies are using certain features that are in here, and then you get onto another technology that has one unique feature, but it has a bunch of other features of this particular technology. So you feel like you're wasting your money. You feel like, what do you do to be able to make sure that you're not using things that have overlapping features? So which is a big challenge, right? So that is what we provide, right? You don't have to use overlapping features. We can give you a single module, right? Okay, you can have one module, you can have two modules, you can have three modules, or you can have a full suite. So we've made it very easy for people to be able to get what they want. It's a single login, it's multi-tenant, multi-location, multi-role based model. So you can define whatever you want at the onboarding time. And the onboarding is given in the hands of the users. So we have created such an ease in there that most of the onboarding can be done by the user.
Wow.
So we can handhold you. We can give you a complete overview of how it works. We can basically go online with you and then fill in all those informations for you for onboarding. But if you are a very well organized office and you know what you're doing, you can do the onboarding on your own along with your staff members, and we can guide you through that. So we've cut down the whole onboarding process. We've cut down a lot of noise that happens during the onboarding just by giving it in the hands of the doctors and the business owners. So basically there are some things that we have to do at the back end. There are certain customizations that we have to do at the back end. We can customize things that you need for your practice very easily. There can be charges for that and stuff, but then it's very easy process, so that what you feel when you get the product is like this is your native product. And we want every practice to have that feel that this is your native product. We've gone into the details so much so that even you print out anything from DentTracks, it will have your branding. So
Yeah.
we took really great pride in developing it in a way where you can upload your logos, you can upload your stationery and all of that information onto a specific space, so that when the printout material is made for your staff meetings and for your lectures and for your different KPIs and having meetings with your CPAs and your lawyers or whatever, when you take paperwork, if you need to take paperwork, it will have your branding. You'll look really organized, you'll look really well prepared and stuff. So that's the beauty of what we prepared.
Well, and I'm always curious where, I mean, it's 2025 and AI is, everywhere in technology. How are you leveraging that with DentTrack?
That's a great question. That's basically the crux of the discussion today, I guess. But what I would say is there's a lot of chatter in the market about AI being a bubble, that it's gonna break and it's gonna go away. I don't know how much truth is there to it, because we are already adopting AI. I mean, I've seen a lot of dentists adopting AI in their personal lives, in their businesses, and in whatever they are doing. I mean, it's not just chat gpt. I mean, chat gpt, OpenAI have given a lot of power in the hands of the users at the top level. Whatever is happening, how sustainable it is, because they're just burning cash right now, they're not becoming profitable. But it's a powerful technology that we had to include in DentTracks. It's a So what we are doing is we're just creating an AI overlay, which means that whatever we have incorporated within the tool, that incorporation within the tool is one matter, right? So, for example, when we do eligibility verification, we do document processing AI within our process. So when we are giving you an eligibility form, it's pre-filled and it's like 98% accurate, 97% accurate, and 97% so to speak, not just accurate, but completed. Because a lot of eligibility verification forms, you see, they have lots of gaps in them. This information missing, that information missing. You have to pick up the phone and call, right?
Yeah.
So that document processing AI is where we have that. The second phase of document processing AI is like processing the documents of EOBs and then putting them in the right spots and then making sure that you go back and post the payments into the right areas of the PMS, all automated. So we are working on that piece. But agentic AI, which is conversational and functional conversational AI, is what we have in the tool in the form of DentCom, where the agent can answer all the phone calls and talk to the patient, make an appointment, reschedule an appointment, cancel an appointment. It will seek the right slots for the right doctor. So that's why I said, the best people to do the onboarding is the dental office themselves. And that is the reason, because they know their doctors. They know that one particular doctor takes 3 hours to do a root canal, then the other one can only take 1 hour. So they know their doctors. So there's no point in me onboarding. They should be doing the onboarding on their own. So the AI will seek the slot of that particular doctor and then make the appointment, do all of that. So it's like functional AI. Now, what we are doing going forward is, and this is very cool. I mean, it'll blow you away. So we are doing voice activation with DentTracks. So I'll give you an example. So my objective here is to try and eliminate some more expenses from a dental office by maybe, reducing redundant staff members. Say, for example, or put you using those staff members into some other roles. I mean, where they are more powerful. Okay. Now let's get an example of a front desk. Like a front desk in today's dental office is a person that receives the patient, says hi to them, takes their insurance card, takes their ID, and then scans it into the system, does the data entry, and then attaches the right fee schedule. If they do that, put the referral sources, all of that into the system, and then tells the patient, okay, based on your insurance eligibility verification, this will be the cost of your visit today, or the insurance covers it 100%, whatever the case may be. And then the patient waits, and then the dental assistant comes out, they'll take the patient to the back. So that's the flow for a front. So what we are saying is, okay, all of that is not required. Just eliminate your front desk. There's no need for a front desk. So you have a kiosk, and then you have the links that are going to your patient's handheld devices. So patients can fill out the form themselves. They can scan their ID, they can scan their card, and then all that information that comes from DentTracks is easily written back into the PMS. You don't need a front desk for data entry. So all of that information is written back. Now, when the patient comes, if the patient is a new patient, the dental assistant receives the patient at that time, gets the card, gets the ID, and then all they have to do is scan. Once they scan, the AI picks up, or for that matter, right now, our team picks up. Like we have a virtual front desk. Our team picks up. That's the 350 people we have. Our virtual team picks up and they do all the data entry. So you don't need a person you're paying $20 an hour to be doing that stuff. You can pay me for that, and I will give you a resource for $1,200 a month, and you're saving straight $3,500, close to $3,000 on that resource. If you are not needing that resource, if you still need that resource, because most offices are like stressed out right now, they have so much work to do.
Yeah.
And they don't have the people. They don't want to hire more people because they don't have the bandwidth. So use that front desk that you had in dealing with your unscheduled treatment, having a conversation with the patient, closing the cases. So that's more valuable work than just doing data entry. So give that to me, or my AI will do it for you. And now see what happens. Now the dental assistant comes, scans the card, and then takes the patient to the back.
Yeah.
Now the vision is, okay, when the patient is in the back, say the doctor comes, does the treatment, it's almost over. Now the dental assistant is removing the bib and wiping the patient's face. During that time, it says, hey, Alexa, Mrs. Smith is done with her appointment. She needs a next appointment to seat the crown with Dr. Law. Can you make that appointment for her? Now Alexa comes into play. Alexa fetches the data, finds a spot, asks Mrs. Smith, okay, is this slot okay for you? Mrs. Smith says, yes, this is perfect. Okay, your appointment is made and I've sent you a link for your appointment on your handheld device. By the way, today's visit cost you $200. Would you like to pay now? Mrs. Smith says, yes, I would like to pay now. I sent you a link on your phone. Can you click on that link and pay with your card or however way you want to pay? Unless it's cash, right? So Mrs. Smith pays it. And then now Christina, who's my assistant, can just walk the patient out. They don't have to go to the front. They don't have to wait, right? They don't have to wait in the front because there are three other people waiting because the front desk is really overwhelmed. There are lots of patients waiting. They have to make appointment. They have to collect payments and all of that.
Yeah.
So how powerful is that?
Yeah. I mean, that's completely cohesive. I think there's a lot of complications in systems and bottlenecks and friction points. And, I love that you've built this tool that really alleviates a lot of the pain points and makes it about the treatments and makes it about the patients and the procedures and not the paperwork and I mean, you can get lost in all that, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
And
so
then, then
how
I,
do
I don't have
listeners?
this product right now. I mean, I want to clarify that, but it's in the
Oh yeah,
part of
that's the
being,
future.
it's the part of sustained engineering that we are doing. And that's our next step. And we are like progressing really well with that.
Yeah. So how do listeners connect with you and learn more about DentTracks?
So I have my own LinkedIn page. People can go on LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn page for DentTracks. We have DentTracks website, which is www.denttracks.com. And I'm a key opinion leader. I do a lot of practice consulting. I get calls every day. My passion is to help my colleagues. So where did that come from? Being a new business owner, I was told one thing by a lot of management people, and that was this: Dr. Yar Khan, you have done pediatric dentistry, you are a board certified pediatric dentist, you know how to do dentistry the best. So do your dentistry and let us take care of your money. Let us take care of your business because we specialize in this, this, and that, right? That's a cliche. I do not want any of my colleagues to fall for that. Okay, I'm not saying that you cannot collaborate, you cannot work with other people who have these big management degrees and management companies and stuff like that, but do not trust anybody blindly. Don't fall for that cliche. If you're doing dentistry in whatever specialty or general dentistry that you're doing, that is rocket science, man. I mean, dentistry is not easy. That is rocket science. You are able to do a beautiful root canal. That is skill of the highest level. So if you can learn that, what is preventing you from learning business? It's easy. Learning business is not rocket science. It's just some basic steps that you have to follow. Even if you are an associate, do not leave the office until you look at your day sheet, look at your route slip. It's very, very important that you involve half an hour of your time into doing business. Just look at your day sheet at the end of the day. That's business. Look at each and every patient. You performed this work or you did not. And then point it out to your manager before you leave. That's where business starts. So
Yeah.
spend that 15 minutes to half an hour. And when you start that, you will start finding that you like it. You'll start finding how you can improve. You can improve the business aspect by just incorporating like little things on an everyday basis. So learn it. For business owners, learn how to look at your profit and loss statements. Have your CPA send you the profit and loss statements every month before the 10th of the next month, so
Yeah.
that you can see where you missed out. You can see what happened with your business last year, so you can do something in this particular month, right? Every month you're doing this, you will see where your problems are, whether you're paying too much to your associates or somebody is just lazing around on your time and stuff like that. All of that can be seen on the profit and loss statement.
Yeah.
If anybody wants help to understand how a profit and loss statement looks like and how to read it and how to evaluate it, I mean, I'll be happy to connect with them and help them out. But unless and until they are willing to learn the business side, there will be a person who's actually looking to screw them over. So absolutely critical that you collaborate with team members, collaborate with outsiders, but then do not lose track of your business. That's what is the message I want to give to everybody. It's critical. It's absolutely critical. I've suffered it and I've learned it. I don't want you to suffer and learn it. So take control and then learn from my experiences, is what I would want to say.
Well, thanks, Dr. Yar Khan, for coming on today. I really appreciate the conversation. It's exciting to see what you've built, and I'm going to keep checking in to see where it goes from here.
Well, thank you, Nick. It was a pleasure being on your show and looking forward to long term relationships and stay connected.